All right, I'm back with another daily dose of crypto airdrop alpha, and there's a lot of stuff. So let's not waste any time and jump right in. I'm going to start off with ZK Sync. There's been a lot of speculation on the timeline, but honestly, all signs are pointing to the airdrop coming through next week. We got David Hoffman on Twitter dropping all of these tweets, all of them suggesting that ZK Sync is coming up very soon. And for a lot of previous large airdrops, they've gone on the Bankless podcast to actually announce them, and David Hoffman has tweeted beforehand. So it is looking like it's going to be coming next week. And we've also got a couple of other leaks suggesting that it would be mid-June. We got Blockworks saying that it would be on June 13th. All the signs are pointing to probably next week. So as a result of that, we have updated the rumor airdrop calendar to throw it in as an estimated drop date for June 13th, but I think it could be at any point next week. And we may even see an eligibility checker before that. So this is going to be a big one, and this is going to probably determine the future of airdrops. ZK Sync and Layer 0 are two of the big ones that a lot of people have been farming for, at this point, multiple years. And all of those efforts are going to be coming to a culmination very, very soon. Now, another piece of alpha related to ZK Sync is from GRVT, which is going to be a new perp dex on ZK Sync. So if you haven't yet, I do recommend that you go and just sign up for the wait list. And then there's a bunch of other activities that you can do to get raffle tickets, to get these ZK Sync mystery boxes. And today they tweeted that there's going to be some sort of ZK involvement with these mystery boxes. So I would say this is a pretty low risk, high reward activity, and there might not be much time left to do it. All right, what else do we got coming up? Well, we have the Tycho airdrop, which is going to be coming tomorrow. Now, this first round of the airdrop is going to be for testnet users. They were pretty opaque in terms of the eligibility criteria. All they said was the top 300,000 wallets were able to qualify for this. So I did get a small allocation, nothing major, and a lot of people didn't get much. And they do have 10% of the token supply allocated for the ongoing mainnet campaign. And then another way that you could have qualified for the Tycho airdrop is simply by holding Loopring. So this is tweeted by the official Loopring account here. And basically you can go and claim some tokens now if you hold Loopring tokens. So a little bit of a bonus surprise there, and the tokens will be available at TGE. All right, let's move now to Linea. So they came out just yesterday actually, and said that they are gonna be finally airdropping the LXP for Linea Park. So up until this point, all the LXP drops have been related to their other campaigns, but the real big one, Linea Park, is coming soon. That said though, in order to actually get it, you will need to submit proof of humanity by June 5th, so tomorrow at midnight Pacific Standard Time. I've spoken about Linea Proof of Humanity multiple times. Just go to their website and verify that you have this little green highlighted badge, and if you do, you'll be good for the Linea Park drop. Now that is the good news for Linea, that they're finally dropping the LXP for all of those annoying tasks we did for Linea Park. But the bad news is that just the other day, also, there was an exploit on VeloCore, which is a DEX for Linea. And so some people that were providing liquidity, potentially to farm the Linea Surge campaign, had their assets stolen, essentially, which is just a reminder that you constantly have to be aware of the risks associated with all this. Anytime you take your crypto assets and you deposit them into a protocol, there's smart contract risk, there's risks of hacks and bugs and other ways that you could potentially lose funds. And it's important to remember that. Now, the other thing that came out of this that honestly I'm really not a big fan of is that the Linea blockchain apparently completely unilaterally decided to shut down for a couple of blocks to prevent the hackers from taking the funds out. Now, they say that this was the last resort action to protect users on Linea, but honestly, this just goes to show also that the Linea L2 is completely centralized. They have the power at any moment to stop block production, meaning that you could potentially lose access to your funds. Now, they're saying this is a last resort action to protect users, which, yeah, I get. But honestly, the whole point of crypto is to have censorship resistance and decentralization. And honestly, it just kind of makes me not super bullish on Linea. So when I'm weighing up all these factors, I'm looking at the fact that Linea has a massive amount of funding and obviously a decent amount of TVL at this point. And then there's also the sunk cost issue of the fact that I've been farming this one for a long time. But this has kind of turned me off of it, to be honest, and I've decided that I won't be focusing that much on the Linea Experience Points L campaign. for the linear surge going forward. I think I'm going to focus more so on scroll now, and I just kind of want to vote with my money. Obviously, totally up to you what you want to do. And I'm still going to be taking the LXP for Linear Park, of course. I did all the work for that, and yes, I will definitely take the rewards as well. Okay, next up, let's talk about one of the other major airdrops that should be coming through this month, and that is for Layer 0. Now, this is a piece of alpha that I think everybody should do. They just launched Stargate V2 last week, and my thinking is that it makes sense for everybody that's farming Layer 0 to go now and still keep pushing through a couple of transactions, do a little bit of volume through Stargate V2. Because the reason for that is, A, they did Snapshot 1 for Layer 0 on May 1st, and then they launched Stargate V2. And my speculation is either if you continue pushing transactions now, that will count for round 2 of a potential Layer 0 airdrop, or I'm also speculating that maybe they could do multiple snapshots leading up to the first airdrop, and then either way you would be rewarded for pushing new transactions through Stargate V2. And all this is combined with the fact that the Sybil Bounty Hunter reporting is closed, and so there's really low risk to doing this. Spend a couple of cents, do a couple of transactions, and make sure that you keep triggering interactions with the Layer 0 protocol through the new Stargate. All right, next up, let's move to the Solana ecosystem. So currently, Sanctum has a surprise 2xp multiplier on all pets for 12 hours. This just started, I think, 2 hours ago, so there's about 10 hours left. And if you're watching this, there's probably still time. Of course, if you're holding any of the LSTs, you'll be getting that multiplier. But depending on how you want to play it, there could be different strategies. So in terms of what I'm doing personally, I've got some of all of them. But what I decided to do is throw 1 soul into each of the bottom ranked pets that I have to try and rank them all up. And I'm assuming that after this, they're going to enable the evolutions of these Pokemons, and we don't know what the level that they evolve at is. So I'm speculating maybe it could be 50, maybe it's higher, like 75, probably not as high as 100, but yeah, I'm trying to get them all to rank up at least by a certain amount before this XP multiplier ends so that we can see what happens moving forward. But of course, the majority of my stack is still with the INF token and the VSOL token. Okay, next up, there's this random airdrop that you can check your eligibility for credits. I've never heard of this before, but people have been posting it all over Twitter. You don't have to connect a wallet or anything. All you have to do is paste in your wallet address, and you can check to see if you're eligible for this one. And this one is rewarding activity for transacting on Ethereum mainnet, but also a couple of L2s like Optimism and Arbitrum. So we'll see what ends up coming of this. I wouldn't expect much. This is probably going to be like burger money, but free money is free money. All right, next up, another update that we have is that Nostra Finance is dropping a token soon. They released the tokenomics, so 100 million total supply, 100% of which is going to be unlocked on launch, and 11% is going to be airdropped. So basically what is going to happen, in my opinion, is that the token is probably going to dump immediately post-launch. They're bootstrapping a liquidity pool, but I expect the same thing that happened with Ekubo to happen here. It's probably going to dump immediately, and then over a longer period of time, maybe it will move into price discovery. Now, in terms of whether or not you can still qualify, they say that the snapshot is coming soon, so it still hasn't happened yet. But honestly, if you haven't started farming this one, probably no point in starting now. And then the token is actually going to be coming on the 17th of June. And personally, after this is the last major airdrop target that I was working on for the Starknet ecosystem. And honestly, kind of looking forward to just checking another one off my list and moving on to new things. All right, next up, let's talk about Nillion. Now, this is an interesting project that I have been tracking at this point for a couple of years. They were just sort of in development, raising money, but now they just launched their incentivized testnet. I think it's an interesting project, and it's probably a reasonable target for airdrop farmers that have no capital or that have some time to allocate to airdrop farming. So I would recommend checking it out. They just launched. They've confirmed that it will be incentivized. I wouldn't expect to get massive paydays for doing it, but if you have a lot of time and energy, then yeah, this sort of activity is still good. And in terms of the project itself, I think it does have some interesting applications and bring some innovation to the crypto space. And then they've also got a Zeely page that you can sign up for and get started there. Okay, next up, Rabby announced that there was a snapshot, so you had to claim your Rabby points before the end of May. I mentioned this at least 2 or 3 times on the channel, so I hope you claimed your Rabby points, and it looks like we'll be getting a drop from them soon. Another update is that the Avail blockchain just raised a boatload of money, including a pretty decent chunk from Peter Thiel's Founders Fund, which obviously is super bullish. At this point, I think they've raised over $75 million, and now they have backing from one of the most legendary investors ever. And the Avail token should be dropping relatively soon as well. Okay, next up, let's talk about Grass. So there is a new update that you will need to do. If you haven't done this yet, go to your Grass profile, click on your little PFP icon up here, and make sure that you have a verified email address. If you don't have a verification, it's possible that all your Grass points will end up being worthless. So make sure that you do connect an email address and verify it. And that's basically all you need to do right now. I'm thinking that at some point they'll probably also have us link a Solana wallet address to this, but so far all you need to do is go and connect an email address. And of course, you can see my points dashboard here. I am waiting to give away a portion of my Grass airdrop, which I have promised for a long time, still will be happening. I did not think that the Grass points would drag out as long as they have, and hopefully it comes through soon. Okay, next up, another airdrop campaign that is reaching the end is Ironclad Finance. So you earn Embers instead of points for depositing and borrowing assets on Ironclad, and they said that basically this is your last chance to earn those points, and they're offering a 10x boost on select assets. So this is basically your last chance to shore up your position for Ironclad Finance. If you've already withdrawn, you'll probably be massively diluted by this 10x points multiplier. And if you haven't, I would suggest that you stay the course at least until this ends. In terms of the actual airdrop itself, I don't have super high expectations. This is kind of a tertiary target for me personally. I was farming the mode airdrop and then Eigenlayer and LRTs like Renzo and Kelpdown. And so I'm not expecting a massive payday from Ironclad Finance, especially going by the Kim and the Ionic airdrops within the mode ecosystem. But of course, free money is free money. And when it's an airdrop Lego stacking multiple airdrops on top of each other, then yeah, I'll take what I can get. Okay, next up, let's talk about dBridge Finance. This is another one, probably have maybe a couple of weeks left to farm it, at maximum just over a month, I would say. And they currently have a points multiplier on for people that stake Jupe tokens. But this means that you have to be bridging from the Solana wallet that you use to stake those Jupe tokens in order to get that multiplier. However, if you are farming dBridge with a Solana wallet, then you might as well take advantage of this multiplier if you stake Jupe as well. Another bridge that we have an update for is Jumper. They have said that we'll get XP for the month of May by the end of this week. And with Jumper, they do their experience points drops monthly. So that means that by the end of this week, you'll be able to see where you rank in terms of your overall level. Okay, next up, OmniHub and Mint Blockchain have partnered for this NFT mint on the Mint L2. And it currently costs 60 cents, 61 cents to mint. There's plenty of space left, so no rush. I'm into one of these though. There's only 603 out of 10,000 minted, but you might as well mint one if you've bridged to the Mint blockchain because, well, it's super cheap and it could have some airdrop relevance. And then finally, L2 Finance came out and said that they are gonna do a snapshot of the points totals for Q3 2024. So it looks like there will be an L2 Finance airdrop eventually, but potentially not for another 3 to maximum 4 months. They also did include some information here though about what number of points you would need to be in the top 1%, 10%, 20% of points holders, which I do think is interesting. So yeah, that is it for today's airdrop updates. Hopefully you found this useful. And if you want to test out our Rumor airdrop hunting app, we have a calendar of important dates. We also have the news feed or the rumor mill where we post updates on time-sensitive tasks that need action. So if you want to test this out, you can do a free trial for 7 days. And then if you're interested in joining it, it costs $9.99 per month. But if you think about it, that's basically the cost of a couple of transactions on Ethereum mainnet. And if it helps you get a couple of decent airdrops, I think it's worth it. Anyways, hopefully you found this useful and thanks for watching.